but Georgia won't let it. The sack by Jalen Carter. The mini Jordan Davis. Took a while for him to come around, but I think
The sound is so nice you hear it twice. Draft profiles rolling on Crevonte, and we're on the defensive side of the ball with possibly not only the best player on defense, possibly the best player on the draft, but we always know if it's not things on the field, it's usually off the field situations or injuries that cause a player to possibly fall. Jalen Carter.
Jalen Carter's a big dude, man. We, you know, we have defensive players that have the potential, every year to be, arguably the first overall. Jalen Carter has a lot of tools that I think any team will be able to use. But yeah, big guy, man, big guy. I can't wait to get into him.
6'3" from, I'm going to probably mess this up, Apapoca, Florida, Junior, 33
Sounds
and a
about
half
right.
inch. So Florida, bro. 33 and a half inch arms, 10 and 1/4 inch hands. That 314 might be about 330, but we'll let him rock. 6'3". He pretty much is the prototypical defensive tackle. I mean, if he wasn't in any of the off the field goofiness, he'd probably be a top 3 pick. Crevonte, what are you seeing?
Easily. The Cardinals, if they were to stay, and I don't think they will, but if they were absolutely going to stay, like Jalen Carter, Will Anderson, it's kind of close, but I think Jalen Carter would be the consensus number one defensive player, rated, and probably the first one off the board. But he's young and goofy, so yeah, we'll jump right into it. You ready?
Let's get to it. What are you seeing?
So a very large human, okay. But for him to be the size that he is, and I think on NFL they had him at 6'3", 310. And I was like, yeah, that's not right. That's not. I was like, that's not right at all. He's probably closer to 330. But for him to be that big, he's a incredible athlete. Rare speed and quickness on the for the interior defensive line. So he gives centers and guards hell. He has intimidating, very, very intimidating. And especially coming from that Georgia Bulldogs defense. Hell, everybody looks intimidating, but he was the biggest intimidator on that team. He absolutely can take over a game, which is what you want out of your defensive lineman, because usually your interior D linemen don't get stats. They raise havoc, and they even created a stat bar. I don't know if you noticed, but called pressures now. How long has that been a stat? Like it hasn't been long.
No more than like 4 or 5 years. Can't be.
It hasn't been that long, but this is more ways to be able to, grade and scout mammoths on the interior defensive line. But very, very explosive, and very skilled at shedding blocks. He is everything you can want out of an interior defensive lineman. Absolutely disruptive at the point of attack. And again, I think it's important to say that he was the best of a stacked Georgia defense between last year and this year. Like, there's a lot of guys that's in the NFL now and it's going to be in the NFL. Jalen Carter was one of the tops. But now you go to the other side. Obviously, the biggest one is off the field. He was in a car accident where I believe he was speeding, and a couple of people lost their lives, including a teammate, and I want to say somebody else that was affiliated.
I think one of the grad assistants or one of the team assistants, one of those. Right. I think she was a young lady, I believe.
Yep. So two people died, unfortunately. And also there's some character issues. Those are the off the field goofiness that goes on. Now on the field weaknesses, it's not many. It's not many. Obviously he's a big guy, so conditioning is something that can be a little concerning. Is he going to play 3 downs? or is he going to play 2, or how many snaps, what percentage of snaps is he going to play on defense? But that's up to his defensive coordinator. I'm sure that's not a terrible problem to have. And last but not least, he shows sparks and flashes of him pass rushing, but at times it doesn't seem like he really has a plan. He's kind of just out there using his athletic abilities and getting to spots where he wants to, almost effortlessly, but he doesn't have a real plan on the pass rush side. So if he gets with a D-line coach, defensive coordinator that's going, hey, put this combination together, he's going to be an absolute problem. We already know some of the great interior defensive linemen now. We got Aaron Donald, and we got Chris Jones in Kansas City. But his player pro comp is Kawan Short.
Where do you see him going? I don't see him falling off the top 10, though. I mean,
no way. There's no way he falls out of the top 10. I think at the absolute lowest is 9 to the Bears.
That'll be the Bears. Ooh.
That would be and funny because the Bears had number 1 and Jalen Carter was on the board, and he was the number 1 rated player, but the goofiness kind of takes him down. But the Bears getting a haul from the Panthers and still being able to get Jalen Carter would be crazy. But I don't see him going past at the lowest 9, but I could see him going to the Seattle Seahawks. I can see the Cardinals, so but 9 is the absolute floor. But remember, we talked about Pete Carroll before. Pete Carroll loves these type of guys.
He loves those type of players. He don't mind the off the field stuff. Legion of Boom type player.
Nope. If you got a chip on your shoulder, even better.
And he'll come in day 1 and start. Also, number 8, Atlanta. They just signed another defensive lineman, Calais Campbell from the Ravens. You talk about a guy who had some trouble off the field. Who better than a Walter Payton Man of the Year, Calais Campbell, to mentor young Jalen Carter on the field but off the field to keep him out of trouble, play next to each other. Ooh, that could be something too.
Sure, absolutely. Oh yeah, on paper that sounds amazing, but he's in Atlanta, Byron.
All right, we'll try.
That's too close to home. That's too close to home for me.
Yeah, we could do Seattle. We could do Seattle or Chicago. I'm cool with that.
I think I would love to see him with Pete Carroll, but also the Bears historically have been good at defense, so that wouldn't be a bad pick either.
We'll see what happens. Like I said, I wouldn't rule out the Cardinals at 3 either. Eagles defensive coordinators now the coach. If they stay at 3, that could be something to watch as well, right?
Absolutely. Yep.
Sound off. Let us know what you think about Jalen Carter. Could go as high as top 3, but could fall out to the maybe 9 or 10. Where does he go? Where do you think he goes? Does the off-the-field stuff impact your decision to draft him? We'll be back with more draft profiles here on the Flex Zone Podcast.